right, I look like we got it going now. Give me one moment. I will bring y'all up in just a second. I'm gonna get my background going here. All right, here we go. All righty, let me send my heart meat. Christopher, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. The Our Vote Count host got a new device, so I think that was the problem.
Well,
Trying to figure out this new device. Yes.
hopefully they get it figured out. That's not good. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they got it figured out. It's figured all out. We're good. All right. So, Jay, you coming up? I'll just hit the request. I'll bring you up. Oh, so it's the old one. Either way, we're here. How are you doing today, Christopher?
I am doing really well. TikTok is glitching for me as well, so I totally feel you guys because I can't get the thing off the screen. Keyboard is just killing me here. I guess I don't even really need it. If I type anything untoward into the chat, you guys let me know. I'm so sorry, but it was AI. It was not me. So.
Okay. Look, it's something every Sunday. Something goes on with TikTok. I promise you.
Oh my goodness.
Welcome in, everybody. Y'all come in, tap the screen, send your daily heart me. We will be talking to some candidates today. Hopefully they could do some networking, some brain working, some figuring this thing out. Because we need answers. We don't need any more questions. We need answers.
Yep, I agree.
Yep. You feel the same way, Jay?
I do.
All right. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today. I'm doing great today. It's something in the air that makes today a good day.
Oh, somebody playing the violin?
No, making coffee. I'm sorry. I can't get this thing off my screen to mute. I'm sorry. So you're just gonna hear it. I can't even. You know what? I need to come back actually because I can't even get my camera on.
Okay, drop down and come right back. I'll bring you right back up. Oh, wait, it might not even let you do that. So let me do it. All righty. Y'all, we'll be getting started in just a few minutes. Gonna wait for the other candidates to come in. Yes, Jay Morris is here. Jay, how did you feel about this November 4th?
Very overwhelmed. I was so excited. Listen, when the
I can't hear you very well.
can you hear me now?
A little bit better.
Okay. I was saying I was excited. I was very, very happy. When the polls closed in New York and they said, he's mayor-elect, I was like, oh my God, we just made history. We did it.
We did it.
Progression. This is how it feels to progress once more.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna just give a few more minutes, about 5 more minutes, to see if some more candidates come on in. I'm gonna start this conversation. And while we wait, like I said, y'all tap the screen, share this out. Get this on the FYP page. We do have a gift goal up top here that you all can donate to. The goal. I forgot we weren't supposed to say the GIFT word apparently on TikTok. There's some new rule there. Let's see. Rage Against the Regime. I like that name.
Yeah, I just can't help but think that we're getting engineered or something like that with this.
Is your screen better? Did it go off?
Should we test it?
I mean, you said something about you couldn't get the keyboard off or something, right?
That's gone. Yes.
Okay, great.
All right. I think
there you are. Great.
Oh,
Wow.
it has been a day, Melanie and Jay.
So far, I mean, actually, my day today has been very relaxed for me. I'm watching my football. Just participating on some panels. So this
Nice.
has actually been a very relaxing Sunday for me.
I woke up very early and I ran the Phoenix. We had a Phoenix 10K today and marathon and stuff like that. I didn't run the marathon, but I ran the 10K. And then
You ran a 10K today?
morning, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
And then
I can't run 10 feet. So okay.
I went after that to. We had a community walk for Snap, and people brought food, and we were talking about Palestinian Lives Matter and that brand and everything like that through their nonprofit as a here, and it was just a lot of stuff. But it was a 5K, so I've done a 10K run and a 5K walk today for some reason. My legs are gonna fall.
Well, look at you. What you say, Jay?
Go get some donuts today. I was like, ooh, let me go to the Krispy Kreme. And I rode past the Krispy Kreme multiple times, the old one, and I forgot that they closed that location down. So when I got there, I was like, oh. So now I'm in Walmart looking for donuts because, well, I need donuts. Yes.
Oh my.
Now you're in Walmart. Chris is out here running 10 and 5Ks, and you're out here going to get donuts. I think I vote for Jay in this instance.
Never, because he'll probably I probably will not. I'll just run.
Like I said, I can't do 10 feet, so I don't know how y'all do 10K or 5K. I don't know. The Ray say I would run a 10K while eating donuts.
You can do that. Sometimes they pass out good stuff while you're running. I've been in a race before where they passed out beer. Like you could get beer while you're actually running the race. You know how they do the cups on the side? Yeah, they have beer.
And somebody gave you a cup of beer?
You could get it.
Get out of here.
I don't know if I want that. I might have done it once just to say I've done it, probably. But yeah, no, it was pretty interesting. But.
Oh, someone said it was for carbs.
Yeah, maybe actually not that bad, but. Ugh.
I can't even. Unless you want me to run to the finish line like this. No, don't give out the beer.
Listen, I was in JRTC in high school, and every Friday we had to run a mile, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. But hey, well, at least we finished the mile though.
You is a skinny mini, Jay. What is you talking about?
Tell me about it.
Football, and there was if you like messed up in football, like the whole team had to run around the hydrant, and it was like a mile, and it was an insane because you're wearing pads and stuff like that, and the heat in the Midwest.
That's why I'm glad I was born a girl. I can't do. I've always sit there and watch football and say,
No.
how did y'all do this? Like, if I just fall one knee on the ground, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to unalive. But they be like in the air, plopping, hitting the ground, and they get up like nothing happened. I don't understand it.
I don't need this, but I only came for donuts. I don't. But it's 10. We gonna come back for that. We're gonna come back for that. Yeah.
What kind of donut?
All right.
Um.
Christopher, where your friends at, Christopher? I got to come on in here now. All right. From Rio's campaign. Oh, hey, Jamie. So is Rio on his way? Do you know?
Hopefully we get Rio. Who else is coming? I actually don't know the guest list today.
I believe it's you, Jay, Rio. I want to say it was Kaylee. I think that's who. And it was one more person. Oh, that was Amanda, not Kaylee. It was Amanda. So he's canceling. He's canvassing. Okay. And Bernard.
Well, let's start with Jay. Jay, are you running?
Yep.
Nice. What are you running for?
The state house representative in Georgia.
Okay. All right. Which is the community where?
That would be the Midtown Savannah area, the historic district part of it.
Okay. Savannah. I haven't been there. I've been to Atlanta once, and I was just downtown for a conference. Like one, I was a student even, so I didn't even venture out that far. How is Savannah different from Atlanta? Because I feel like everybody
Um,
thinks that, right?
well, uh, how is we different from
And it
Atlanta?
smells better.
Yeah, Savannah does smell better. Savannah does smell better, and it's the people. The people
No,
here.
no, no. I said Atlanta. Atlanta smells better.
Maybe a rivalry.
I think she said Savannah. Anyways,
Is there a rivalry there? I'm just curious.
you said what?
Is there a rivalry? Like, do people in Savannah kind of talk SA?
See, well, when you actively live in Georgia, you would know that we don't claim Atlanta. Atlanta is like its own little state because it operates as though it is its own little state.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
Are you from
You know.
there?
No, I'm from Savannah,
Okay.
born and raised. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of
To
biased.
my, yeah, to my knowledge, there's not a big rivalry between Atlanta and Savannah. Um, I was just saying that because whenever I drive through there, like as soon as you hit the Savannah area, the paper mill smell, like
Oh yeah, I know what you're
it
talking about. Yeah, they
accomplishes
closed.
you. Yes.
Yeah, they closed down Savannah International Paper for some stupid reason, and then Garden City is still operating with their factories, which is still giving that air pollution smell.
Hmm. Yeah, I grew up when I was in college. I was in a place called Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and it's called the City of Five Seasons. That's just like the slogan, but we always called it the City of Five Smells because they have a Quaker plant there. Like Quaker Oats.
Hmm.
So they do a whole bunch of oatmeal, and it just smells horrible. And it was right next to campus.
Oh,
Oatmeal smells bad creating? I did
Oatmeal
not know this.
and all the other things they must make at that place smell bad. But there's like Thursday is cinnamon toast crunch day or something. I don't know what it is, but it smells delicious. So there's one day that it smells really good, and then the rest is like a misery.
When I moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, and I come in, they have I think it's called Flowers Bakery. And as soon as you hit Greensboro, you smell the baking of the bread.
Yeah,
man,
That's
that's a good
amazing.
smell. That is a
That's a
very good
good
smell.
smell.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Absolutely.
Bread,
So I absolutely love that.
bread is fantastic.
All right. Well, look, we're gonna go ahead and get started talking about this, and we'll see who shows up, and they can request up and join in. So the first thing I want to talk about, and we kind of touched on a little bit when I started off the live, was Mr. Zoran Mandani. He has won his mayoral seat in New York. And so it brings up a lot of questions about socialism. And is it actually beneficial, or is this something that the country should strive to implement across the country, or could this be detrimental? So I'll start with you, Chris. What do you think?
Well, I hate to boil it down that far to just talking like it's just socialism, because like if you think of like your local fire department, that's technically a form of socialism, right? We all pay in, we all benefit. So when you think about America, I disagree with the notion that we are like a purely capitalist country. We're starting to resemble a purely capitalist country a lot more now, but we're sort of like a hybrid country, and we do it our own way, and it works for us very well. It's enabled us to do things like ramp up penicillin production during World War II, and try to use that to, it really helped us like win the war even to some extent. So when you look at things like that, where when there's like an initiative that needs to happen, the government can have a hand in that, right? And then still we kind of keep like our individuality and, you know, all the things that we do that are capitalist, but we need to have things that are just basic that establish like a standard of living for everybody. And also prevent against like chronic disease is like one of the biggest things that faces Americans today. If we all had access to basic preventative care, I think it would drastically reduce the amount of chronic illness that we have. Because if you think about things like obesity, like I would put that in there, or like inflammation, things like that, like those things all get worse if you're not living a healthy lifestyle. And everybody should have that access to somebody who is a qualified person to be able to help them understand what a healthy lifestyle looks like at a very health basic level, access to basic medicines. And like there's, the reason is not to, you know, suckle off the system. The reason is because we all want to go to work. Like everybody wants to contribute. America is a place where people are all contributing. I meet people all the time that are doing amazing things to just like juggle everything that they have going on and like be somebody where they're, you know, maybe they like have a side gig or they have like a business they run that they created out of nothing. We're entrepreneurial and we gotta like unleash that, as opposed to, you know, letting everybody be in a situation where you're sick, you have nothing that you can do about it, like you go bankrupt or something like that, or you have bills that just eat at you and like cause you to never be able to put away money. I'm sorry, I could go on and on about this, but I just really think that when we call it just socialism, it is like making it into like a discussion that is some scary thing, when actually it's just that basic like understanding of what it means to be able to be an American, like do your job, be healthy a little bit, and
Right.
be able to work. So.
And now the only reason I pointed out to social, because he is self-proclaimed a democratic socialist. That's the only reason. I wouldn't like put that label on anyone else, but he says that's what he is. Jay and Rio, welcome to the panel. Thank you for coming through to talk with these other great candidates. You can, uh huh.
Hey there, guys. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
All right. I'm going to go to Jay real quick, but we're talking about what do you feel about Mamdani, his platform of which is, as we was just saying, a socialistic platform. But how do you think that should be implemented across this nation, or could it be detrimental? So I'm gonna go ahead and let Jay answer.
What was said before, America already have some ideologies that's already socialist. But now it comes back to the fact that socialism itself cannot work if the people don't understand what it is. Um, and because of what the education system is today here in the United States, we've misconstrued what is socialism and capitalism and all the other economic terms. I believe that it will benefit America. I believe that if we give people the basic necessities, if we pay into the basic necessities, correction, and benefit from paying into the basic necessities, some healthcare, housing, and education, we can see improvement. Other countries have already done it, and look how they're doing. They're doing better than America in certain things. Um, and it comes down to the fact where here in the state of Georgia, where almost 7.8 million people are going to lose their benefits. Why should they lose their benefits if they're paying into their benefits? Um, SNAP benefits are a main example of socialist policies. Um, and that's one thing we can look at and point to when it comes down to socialism. Healthcare, Medicaid, and Medicare can also fall under that. And if we can say, hey, we already practice it and it's good and it works here, why shame it? Which is the huge thing, which is a lot of people doing right now, is shaming these policies that are supposed to be uplifting families and uplifting communities, but they taking it to the extent of, well, you know, it's bad because a certain group of people is on it, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be, well, we pay into it, and it's ours because we pay taxes into the government, and the government should be giving us what we deserve from out of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rio, would you like to give your opinion, your take on this question, and then I'll allow you all to kind of answer or rebut what the other person said.
Absolutely. Mondani victory, landmark, benchmark, historic, unforgettable. So happy about it. Could not be more happy about it, to be honest. Been supporting him almost the whole year, definitely all of 2025. And to see it is just something out of a fairy tale. I've been on cloud nine because the impact it is having on our campaign is tremendous. I believe more people are believing we can win because of it. Yes, people-powered politics, 100%. Whether you call it socialism or you call it working-class progressivism is semantics. It's immaterial because it's about people first. It's about not taking corporate money. It's about not taking, corporate PAC money and foreign lobbying money and APAC money. And I refuse these things. And because of that, and I know that there's a wave of us with these principles. I've boiled down Mamdani's victory to 3 Ps, the 3 Ps of progressive power: people, principle, and passion. That is how he won. That is how we will win. And I'm convinced the blue wave is on, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I just can't even put it into words. Like, this is a moment unlike any I've ever experienced in my life. And to be in this moment with all of these folks, it is magical, and I'm honored to be here, guys.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we all agree that this is a good win. This is one that just feels like it made a difference. And I think it's so important that it happened in New York. I mean, it's the center of the country in a lot of ways. People think of it that way. And I don't mean to put down any other locale or any other place, but there's something about New York. We love it, right? It's the Big Apple. And when somebody like that can win there, it shows the rest of us that we can win other places. My campaign, I'm not taking any money. And I think that the conditions have changed under which we're electing people. And now this shows it a little bit because he did not outraise Andrew Cuomo. And the other big thing for me with that, and then I'll shut up, I promise, but is that Trump endorsed him, Cuomo. And that is a very telling thing. When you see somebody endorse a Democrat that he would normally be trashing, please let that sink in for you and understand that the oligarchy is one entity. It is not 2 entities. There's no red and blue up there. They are in it for green. And that's all I'll say.
Absolutely. But let's go to the next thing, which you kind of brought up. And I know for sure Christopher is a NMC, which is a no money candidate, correct? Jay, would you say that you are a no money candidate or just you won't do PAC money?
I define that a little bit, though, just really quick for him before he answers. So it doesn't necessarily mean you don't take any money at all. I don't, because I want to be a symbol in that way, and I know that probably anybody political always is like, oh my God, you're never going to win. But let's see what happens when we get volunteer organizations. But I define it to be not taking any corporate PAC money, not taking any dark money, not benefiting from PAC organizations other than basically union PACs. Union PACs take membership dues and they use that to try to help the membership. So that's a little bit different, but basically just not taking crazy money. I mean, it's easy. We all know what that looks like. We all know what that is. If you're not taking the crazy money and you're standing up for what you believe in, you can be an NMC. So just to define that.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Good. Uh, My thing is, I don't like foreign PAC money. I don't like PAC money at all. I'm a huge advocate against that. And my thing with my campaign is showing people that you don't have to have if you have a vision to change what's going on in your community. We've seen time and time again communities being left behind. We've seen people being ignored. We see candidates talking about, oh, we better, all of us is going to unalive one day. And we've seen elected officials who don't want to host town halls anymore and listen to the people that actively put them there. So as we enter a new decade, we also have to realize that it's a new way of doing things. It's a new way of governing ourselves, and that is by first making sure that we have candidates that take money from the people that they are wishing to represent and use it in a way of transparency. We also want to make sure that candidates that are running for office isn't influenced by corporations like Walmart, pharmaceutical companies, but actually the people that is actively in their community, because we have to be there for one another to uplift and heal what's already been broken, because we've been doing this for 250 years and we got to switch it up a little bit. I don't believe in doing things the traditional way. I don't believe in doing things, how it's supposed to be done. I think we should bring a new face to it. And that's what the Jay Morris for Georgia campaign is bringing a new face to politics, bringing a new way of passing bills, a new way of running for office. And Zora Madani is the prime example of that new way of running for office.
And is it okay? May I jump in real quick? I completely hear you guys. For me, the foreign lobbying is tops on the charts, corporate directly beneath it. Like I would repeal Citizens United, and I feel that Citizens United was the beginning of the corporate perversion of politics. I mean, maybe not the beginning, but maybe a capstone moment for corporate perversion of politics in the country. But for me, it is absolutely that corporate money. Let's say a business were to come along and wanted to donate. I would be transparent with my people about that business. We'd be looking at its footprint. We'd be looking at the impact that it has. How does it treat its workers? What's the ratio of the worker pay to the CEO pay? Is it morally okay to accept money from this company? That is how I'd be gauging it. Do they have a foreign? Oh, so sorry, everybody. I'm in Charleston, out and about actually at the moment. But would the footprint of the company be destructive? And if so, then I'm not taking the money. That also being said, the same thing with PAC money. If it's a corporate PAC, absolutely not. People PACs, I'm open to it if our principles align, sure. So it's about principles, and it's about oversight, transparency with my people. If my people don't really like the flow of it because I'm putting it in front of them first, then I'm probably not going in that direction. I don't want to alienate my support base, so I'm going to be as transparent with them as I can the whole way.
Rio, like, for example, I met somebody from the lobby today for the Humane Society. Literally, she works for them. And that's one that I'm like, yeah, no, okay, I'm not real mad about the Humane Society lady. I'm more mad about like the Pfizer guy or like the pharmaceutical big all of them guy. So I totally agree with you. It's not, you gotta take it on case by case to some extent. I think like if you play the money game, like then you are just playing the game of the oligarchy, like of the oligarchs. So I really love what Jay said. I love what you're saying. This is the movement. This is the wave that you were talking about.
I want you to be aware of one thing. When you pump money into Facebook ads, you are pumping money into the billionaires. If we are building from the working class, those are working class dollars, should probably not be sent to the billionaires. So I encourage progressive candidates to build out alternative fundraising structures that don't feed into billionaire profit algorithms, okay? Like, be able to stand on business when it comes to your debates, be able to say, I did not pump a West Virginian salary into a billionaire's pocketbook for an ad. Do better. We can do better. They do not deserve our money. We know they don't deserve our money. And they have been stealing from us, and they're going to continue stealing from us, so much that we now think that this is the only way to do politics in America is to give Mark Zuckerberg the money of the working class to put my ads. Don't play that game, please, guys. I pray that you come up with a new model, maybe something like a subscription model, $26 a month for 2026, and focus on that and expanding your subscription recurring monthly fundraising model, because that is more organic, it's word of mouth, it's people powered, it's legitimate, and that's what matters. And it's an easy sell, 26 for 26. Let's go. You feel me?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm not spending any money on ads or anything like that. I think what you're saying totally rings true. And I would just say, try to get outside. Like, it is easy. Like, go out. You can get to events. People will know your name from that. You can use the social media that we have. I mean, it's in this day and age, that's what I'm talking about, that conditions have changed. It's doable to get your name out there if you stand for the right message. Jay, did you have something?
Yeah. You beautifully brought up, at the end, you brought up messaging, and I think that's a huge thing. In 2025, we witnessed a lot of candidates that ran on a progressive platform that they focus on affordability. And a lot of people tend to listen to messages that focus on the bottom dollar. A lot of people we know here in the United States are legit one paycheck away from being homeless. They are trying to figure out, should I pay my car note or should I pay my rent to keep a roof over my head and keep my kids going to and from school? We shouldn't be always yapping and screaming about what Trump has been doing when we have candidates in the room. What we should be talking about is how Trump is impacting the bottom dollar of these individuals and what we're going to do to make that bottom dollar accessible. Because you can't talk about affordability without accessibility. A lot of people can afford something, but if they don't have the resource there to assess what they want to afford, it's affordable. So it goes back to the question of who can and who cannot afford said things. And that's what I think the next couple of candidates should be worrying about, is making sure that the things that we're running on, housing, healthcare, education, is accessible so that we can make sure it is affordable. Some of the ways that we can do that is by making sure that corporate landlords, there's a plan, that corporate landlords don't um, jack up rent when they feel like it, or that colleges just can go up and buy a property, forcing people out of their homes. There's a lot of things that we can use as messages, but we have to be really smart when we pick it up. So it's there's a lot that comes with this particular topic, from funding to messaging to how to tell people what you're going to do with all that money and everything of the sort. Um, we and it's our jobs as candidates to let the people know in a way that they understand that this is what the money going to go to, and this is what we can do to help you at the same time of you helping us.
Can I just point out, this is our United States in the flesh. We have Jay, who is running for a state house seat. We have Christopher, who is running for a federal house seat. And then we have Rio, who is running for a federal Senate seat. Like, this is how our democracy works, right? And that you all can tackle these things at the different spots that you are tending to cover. And so I'm just really grateful to hear the point of view from the three different areas. Did anyone else have any more to say about the no money candidacy?
I'm circulating a bill of the people, so you guys can sign if you want. I'll send it to you after this. But it just basically talks about changing to a campaign finance system that is public, and shortening the campaign time. Talks about reducing congressional benefits and having universal health care, because this whole thing, with the money, is a siphon. Every time they run us into like a wall, whether it's 2008 or the COVID pandemic or just any bad management situation for the country, everybody has to sell things to survive, who is in the middle class, and I guess you'd call us the 99%, whatever you want to call us, the people, the middle class. Everybody has to lose a little bit of their wealth to the upper class. And if we allow this to continue, they will rule us. I mean, now, even just to get an education, you come out indebted up to your eyeballs. It's creating like a drone society. They're taking away the jobs that are things like art teachers and people who, just teachers in general. Gosh. And it's just crazy. And the way they're doing it is every time there's a crisis, they find ways to either buy up property, or they are in April hiding their money in offshore tax havens and things like that. So everybody on this panel, be prepared, because we need to be able to go get that money. We need to be able to have people in the House, have people in the Senate, have people in the state houses to back that up. And the people will support that message. The people understand that this siphon has occurred. And I think like a lot of people, like maybe you're not aware, but you feel it. So that is why this no money thing is so important, just to everybody.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Ria.
Yeah, you're definitely flipping the system on its head. You know, I want you to just think about how every single preconceived notion of politics in the world as we were growing up is gone. Just remember that, and that you're the pioneer of a new politic, and that you know, we as leaders are really, we need to be surrounded by leaders, and that these are leader driven. Like, it's 2,300 leaders on Facebook, not followers. And like understanding that this is a contrast to fascism. It's a contrast to authoritarianism, that our people truly are leaders, that every single one of these folks is a drop in this new tsunami. I like to call it a blue nami, but essentially that it's coming. Mamdani was the first crashing wave on the shore, and we're all going to crash on this shore, and it's going to be beautiful. You know, some of us will win, some of us will lose, but the idea will live on, that you can stand up to billionaire-driven politic with people-powered politic. And they knew it 100 years ago when they passed their antitrust laws and the progressives came in and they stopped prohibition, and they basically saved us from the New Deal. And that's where we have to go. We're actually facing a much greater depression, a silent depression. At this point, you know, with the fact that like everyone talking about SNAP benefits, right? Everyone, the SNAP benefits. Well, if the yeah, it's a hot topic. If the minimum living wage had escalated properly with the rate of inflation, we wouldn't be talking about SNAP benefits. So the lack of attention paid to living wages over time now has resulted in a greater dependency on SNAP benefits. That's why the Walmart employees and the Amazon employees make up a large percentage of those that need those benefits. And I don't fault them at all, because the system has failed them. The system has failed them, and they should not need 3 jobs to pay for their insurance and their car insurance and everything else. No, 1 job with a living minimum wage, which I say is $20 minimum an hour. Bernie goes to 15, I say 20.
Say 20. What you say, Chris? Where's your...
It is, and I think it, you know, we're going to discuss it, right? But whatever it is, whatever the brilliant scientists that we will have access to when we win say, it needs to be raising with inflation. There's a person that I know who created a group, and I'm like trying to struggle to get the name of it, but it was an Eastern Iowa group, and she went on to work for Bernie. But her, like, one of her biggest accomplishments out there that I was really just in awe of was getting inflationary raises to the minimum wage in Johnson County in Iowa, where the University of Iowa is. And that's the kind of thing that we need to do that's smart, that doesn't leave people behind while, you know, the minimum wage just is stagnant. So, you know, 20, 15, I think like there's certain places 20 would work better, certain places 15 would work better, but definitely needs to be higher. 725 is crazy. I started making money when I was 14 years old in Iowa, and I was getting paid $5.15. There's no way it should be $7.25. Like, it's just,
baby, it was $4.25 when I started. Okay.
But still, like, even the people who are working in service industry, like a lot of their minimum wages are even lower than that.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah. The servers make about 213. I think is the minimum, but you can get just a few cents more than that. But 213 is
that's
where it starts, and that's craziness, right?
That's why pulling healthcare back is so important. That's why single payer is so important in universal healthcare, because that automatically, like, when we're the government, we can make a law that everybody goes into the hospital and they don't have bills. That can happen. They are just telling us a bunch of reasons why that apparently can't happen, and it's just BS. But that, my friends, is the quickest way we can pull back that wealth that they have siphoned away.
Mm-hmm. Jay, do you have a number in mind of minimum wage? Hold on,
Someone
you go ahead.
someone said this before. It depends on where you live. Right now, the state of Georgia have a state minimum wage of $5.25, which is underneath the federal minimum wage, which is crazy. I believe generally that here in the state of Georgia, you can get by with $22 an hour. And when we also talk about livable wages, we also have to realize that the expenses that you have monthly is a thing too. Georgia just did something amazing in 2025 where we flipped two red seats in our public service commissioner seats, where they could regulate Georgia Power from jacking up prices on people. And we need to also realize that rent is another thing when it comes down to livable wages. You can raise the minimum wage, but at the same time, that is going to give companies uh, and other entities the power to raise their wages, to wedge their bills. And we don't need that. We don't need that. So, on top of that, I would solely personally introduce a bill that will cut that, right? If we raise the wages, you shouldn't raise your prices because we need people to live comfortably here in the state. And we also want to tie everything else to inflation, where we can know that our economy is doing well and the people's going to do well while we still focus on making sure people are happy, people are comfortable living in these regions. Um, so that's what I would say.
Was having a conversation earlier about people thinking that if we raise the taxes, raise the minimum wage, that the corporations are going to leave, or at least the wealthy will leave the United States. Do y'all think that's a legitimate fear, or is that a little fear mongering?
No, that's totally legit. That's 100% legit. And everyone's making good points. The ultimate underlying financial reality of the United States of America is a $38 trillion national debt that grows so fast that in this conversation as we've been sitting here has skyrocketed millions while we've been sitting here, just in 30 minutes. If anyone ever wants the hard data, you go to usdebtclock.org, debtclock.org, and you can watch in real time the national debt just skyrocket off the edge of a cliff. So understanding then hyperinflation, not just inflation, that's like the old term. We're in hyperinflation territory. We are in the hockey puck of decay. Not hockey puck, the hockey stick rather of statistical data analysis. It's a hockey stick, meaning it's just going straight up practically. It's a near vertical. We are off a cliff. So the value of the dollar in the dumpster. This is the underlying issue. So what they're doing now is trying to shift that into digital currency. That's why all of this crypto talk under Trump. They're going to try to create a central bank digital currency, what's called a CBDC. And it's going to be controlled by them, like Trump World Financial and all this other crap. It's a nightmare. That's why they just let the Binance guy off the hook, right? So what we have to do as people that don't want that fake currency and want a legitimate currency that's legitimately founded, we have to bring our heads together with the professionals, financial experts, everyone, and have a realistic conversation about the value of our currency, which is just absolutely nil. And we can't begin to talk about rent prices or grocery prices or even healthcare prices until we're talking about the value of the dollar plummeting off the edge of a cliff and addressing hyperinflation seriously, which nobody, absolutely nobody, is doing.
And by the way, just to point one thing out, they are celebrating this in the rightest of right wing podcasts, like the War Room with Steve Bannon. Like they're talking about how the dollar's collapsing, get your gold and stuff like they're making money off it. They're grifting off of it while it happens, while they cause it and make it happen with these crazy tariff things that just are not even the president's responsibility. It's so funny because the guy who I want to replace, David Schweikert, who's in Congress right now, a recluse, you've probably never seen him, but he is in the committee in Congress that's in charge of tariffs. It's literally like when you look up the Ways and Means, that's what they're doing. That's supposed to be their job. They just don't do it.
Absolutely. Jay, did you have anything? Like I said, it's I personally don't think the rich folks going anywhere. You can't claim you're from the richest country in the world if you're not in the richest country in the world.
I'm agree with what you just said there, and I generally believe that they're not going to leave because there are certain ways that we can offset, and offsetting is truly and deeply important when we are talking about economics. Because use my state for an example, Georgia alone spends almost, I believe, $93 billion. That's estimated. Then we also have to realize that out of those $93 billion, where's the money going? When we take something away from economics, we have to offset the positive and negative effects that's going to happen, or everybody's pocket is going to feel it. And we do not want pockets to feel it in our current economic status because people cannot afford things at this current moment. You shouldn't be able to vote for someone because they say they're going to make it easy for you to live in your state or your territory, and then turn around and they pass a policy that sounds good, but then it hurts you. And you sitting here like, I voted for you to make it better, not worse. And that's what we have to realize too. Companies and corporations, if they can budget for a ballroom, they can budget for higher wages, they can budget for higher taxes. That's just the fact. Because if you're going to pay for a $83 billion ballroom, you can pay higher taxes, you can pay higher wages, you can budget for that.
And conceptually, I want to plant a seed in all of your minds that as these fascists have taken chainsaws, the literal richest man in the world who's now facing becoming a trillionaire, cutting US aid, literally resulting in what we cannot even calculate the number of people who have been unalived because of that action. We have no idea of knowing. Understanding that conceptually, what we need to do is take a chainsaw to their budgets. They never went into the Pentagon. They never audited the Fed. Doge is a fraud. For that, understand that. That makes them a puppet of the Pentagon. That makes them a puppet of the Fed. Understand that. And when we understand that, we can be the real Doge. In fact, I call it DON'T, the Department of National Transparency. Don't. Just don't. Because then we can start to cut it. I want to take a chainsaw to the Pentagon budget. That's where I'm coming from. I want to go in there and say, listen, your U.S. empire has failed. It is bad foreign policy. This is why China is in number one space, because they don't go around putting Chinese bases around the damn world. They call it financial diplomacy, and it's smart. And to that end, we do need to emulate more of that and less of the nation building, Pentagon, inflated budget, multi-trillion-dollar nation building shit that is inspired by a certain country that shall go unnamed at this time, because they control our politics. AIPAC controls our politics. Endless war, the war on terror, it has to end. I declare an end to the war on terror. I declare chainsaw budgets at the Pentagon. No more war on terror. That's failed policy. War on drugs didn't bring us an end to drugs, did it? That's failed policy. So we need new policies that aren't war driven. And when we create people friendly policy, meaning we recognize we deschedulize cannabis at the federal level, no more of this nonsense. We can have economies that flourish because of it. We know what we got to stand for. This is 2025. This isn't 1950. And these are the causes, these people-friendly causes that when you just put the microphone to the people, you put the camera on the people, you say, what makes your life better? What do you want? They want a dollar that is not going off the edge of a cliff. And through that, they would be able to cover. And honestly, the conversation I just had with some supporters just before I came on here was like, can we take the stand for universal daycare here in West Virginia like they just instituted it in New Mexico? Because they got a nice new budget thanks to their cannabis legalization and what they're going to do in New York City. Can we not now emulate a universal daycare system off of what they're instituting in New Mexico and going to institute in New York? And I say yes. And how do you pay for it? You pay for it with pre-Reagan Republican tax rates. Because remember, the rich were paying their fair share before Reagan. So you can point to the Republican tax rates of the 60s and still say that is progressive now. And that's exactly where I'm going, because the old Republican tax rates are progressive now. It's gotten so corrupt that old Republican tax rates are progressive. That's where we're at now.
Anyone else? All right. You want to say something, Chris?
We got to go get that offshore money. I really think it's a huge problem with the places all around the world that they're being able to just stash cash that they don't have to pay taxes on. So in addition to the pre-Reagan tax rates, which make, like, let's go back to that direction, I think you got to go get that offshore money.
Offshore money. All right. So we're going to move it a little bit. We've been talking about money. Let's talk about governing. And right now, one of the things I know Chris had pointed out to us is that he feels that the FBI is not quite doing their job today. Some people will argue that they've never really done their job. But particularly right now, they're not investigating important cases like the unaliving of people in trees, or immigration, or even the financial crimes. People are being pardoned. So where do y'all feel like, how do you feel like the FBI can rebound from this leadership once they're gone? Will the public have trust for the FBI again?
No, and the reason why I would say no is because look at where we are right now. They don't even trust their own government, and the only way that we can invite trust again is by new faces, brand new faces that have the qualifications to work in the FBI. Like you said, they're not investigating truther cases, like the violation of the amendments of individuals and the violations of the law overall, and high foreign, not foreign, I'm sorry, high domestic crimes that needs to be investigated. Um, and my powers, like I tell a lot of people, confine themselves into the borders of Georgia. So one of the things that I would do to make sure that the GBI here do their job and make sure that they investigate crimes and make sure that any federal agents comes here and they break the law is also held to the law of Georgia, is by increasing government oversight, making sure that the GBI is actively doing their job, making sure that we actively have yearly conversations on the House floor that says, hey, this is what we find this year, this is what the cases are, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to spend our money, this is how we're going to allocate funds before you pass a budget. And that's what it is all going to be about, is making sure that the people actively see what me as a state representative is going to do and what I'm going to, and who I'm going to work with. Because it's just more than saying, yeah, we need to do this and do that. We actively need to step one. And step one is increasing oversight. I subpoenaing people to the state house so that they can understand that we're not here to play anymore. We're here to actively be the government. Step two is making sure that we have new qualifications for agents in the GBI. And that's going to make sure that our agents are healthy enough to meet that brand new standard where they can conduct themselves. So they are active military personnel and making sure that they have discipline. And that's what we need in our police departments and in our federal agent departments is discipline. And the best way we can bring that is taking them through the same training processes that our military goes through so that they can get that discipline.
Next.
Rio, do you want to go?
That's a good. Sure. Without question, the FBI has completely failed. To specifically address, it's a complete collapse. We are looking at, there's that funny song on TikTok, the hostile government take over. It literally is. And so the conversation that I'm revealing, instead of pretending as if this is normal electoral politics, when we are genuinely having to have the conversation, will there be a midterm 2026? Is he a king? This is disgusting. It makes me sick to have these conversations. So I say in response, if we are not prepared to push for tycoon, I'm calling them, I came up with a name for them, the tycoon tribunals, but basically the folks who are literally trashing the Constitution on a daily basis with thousands of crimes, with, a masked Gestapo in the streets, trampling human rights, dividing the country, and committing all kinds of crimes. There needs to be accountability, and I believe a part of my campaign is about accountability on this front. I don't think we could have the rule of law restored without accountability on this front. So in order for there to be a rule of law, I say accountability, and accountability now. The Constitution is the supreme law in the land, and if we were to just run this on due process alone, we have a case. Period, full stop, full send.
To me, I think that you need an FBI. You need like a federal, some sort of law enforcement. And I think the agents, if you were to go through every single agent, you could find a lot of people who care a lot about this country and want it to be good and want it to be something that's doing the right thing. But their leaders right now are people who are completely just bought and paid for. I think you need an FBI, but I think you need to be able to have leadership that turns them against the people that are responsible for the financial crimes that we see. I think you need to be able to turn them against the people that are going around and unaliving people as a political statement, which I think is very clear the way it's happening and the frequency it's happening, that there is something going on and the FBI is not investigating it. The state BIs are not investigating it. And like, I challenge anybody right now, it is November 9th and Trey Reed was found in the middle of September during the week of CK's, the aftermath of that event. And I challenge anybody, go look it up right now. You're not going to find an article about that. You're not going to find we don't even have the second autopsy. It's been a month at least since that was supposedly going to be done. So something is going on, and the FBI are the ones that we all depend on to be going out and finding these situations out and bringing it to light for all of us. There is no person that should not have the backing of the federal government that is an American citizen or someone trying to be an American citizen who is doing it in the right way and trying, just doing whatever they can do to try to have a shot. That's what I would consider the American dream, is having that shot to make it and to work and have a lifestyle. Right? But we need that security. We just need to turn them against the people that are committing the real crime, the crimes that actually affect millions of people. And then the crimes that are in our communities that are very hard for local law enforcement to, and sometimes the local law enforcement might be in on it. The fact remains, you need that federal oversight. That's what we've had that has had the biggest impact. Like when the federal oversight is coming from somebody who is actually enforcing the truth, which is not very often, but that's when we see actions that actually get justice done. That powerful entity has to have some law enforcement that's going on there, and we just need it to work the right way.
A lot of historical mistrust, and I think it's and I'm not proclaiming any of us disingenuous, but it's disingenuous to have this conversation without talking about the historical mistrust with marginalized communities. For instance, one of the most horrible, I think, imbalances in this conversation is how the FBI went after the Black Panthers, but not the Triple K. And had they gone after the Triple K, perhaps we wouldn't be facing the situation we're facing now. So it was a conscious obfuscation of suppressing what could be called far-right violence, which was dominant in the 60s and dominant up until this year and still even, but now it just wears an ice mask. They've now rebranded. And in the rebranding of their violence, it takes new strategies from us, rebranding justice in the face of it, because now they went from Proud Boys and Oath Keepers and 3%ers to ICE agents, and now they have federal cover for their crimes. And we have to be strategic. We've got to look at this. I would say from a populist, leftist populist perspective, progressive populism, I like to call it, but essentially that the more people we have, the more transparency, the greater the numbers, the harder it is for these folks to execute their agenda. And the need for a federal police force is clear, but not without a full, and I mean full transparency historically of its behavior so that trust can be truly restored. When we have the historical conversation, we can start to rebuild trust, but this goes back. Kash Patel's corruption at the FBI is just the modern face of something that J. Edgar Hoover, we could have that conversation easily. Talk about Vietnam, talk about the Vietnam War, the way he treated those folks. Like, come on. So if we have actual good people in there focused on taking out the narcos, taking out the P3DOs, taking out the Epstein Island folk, that I would get behind fully. But that takes a full-on cultural and social revolution, and that's what they're fighting against. That's why it's a cultural war for them. That's why they talk about Sydney Sweeney's genes more than they talk about the lack of, SNAP benefits. So, culture war instead of real progress, and that's what's got to stop. It has to stop. I'm so sick of it.
Rio, I do agree with you. I think you make a really good point. And the only thing I would say, though, is remember, the intelligence community during Obama especially was really warning that white supremacist groups were the main threat to our country. And when you think about that, there's some people that are trying to alarm us about what's going on right now and what we're seeing right now. So I really think, I agree with you. I think if we direct it the right way and we fill it with people that are serious about justice, then we're going to get the result that we put back there. I mean, that's something that needs to happen in this country. And a lot of things, like you said very eloquently, need to come to light about the history of the FBI for sure. So that's an absolute need for what I was talking about too.
And to put an exclamation point on the whole thing, the left has lost control of the narrative when it comes to law and order. We've allowed the right to claim that they're the law and order. And so we have to take a strong stance, but it's against narcotic trafficking and human trafficking and P3DO. And that's just what it has to be about. And the more that we focus on stamping that out, the more that we can claim law and order, the more that we can also attach to that billionaire corruption and malfeasance and bribery and fraud and exploitation. Let's do that as well. It seems like one giant sinking ship. And to that end also, historically, society moves to the left, it liberalizes, it opens up, it progressivizes, if that's even a word. It goes this direction naturally. There's no stopping it. We're just drops in an ocean. There's no stopping it. It's coming. And we're the ones that create this. So when I say tycoon tribunals, I'm putting out and planting a seed that we hold these rich people accountable. That ultimately Donald Trump, for his actions just in the Caribbean, should be at the Hague. But because George Bush and Dick Cheney weren't held off at the Hague, Benjamin Netanyahu not held off at the Hague, war criminals just getting a free pass. Yeah, Donald Trump's getting a free pass. Not in my America. You don't get to you don't get to drop the boom booms on it. Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't get to drop the boom booms so easily, so freely, without evidence, without any kind of process or congressional oversight. Absolutely not. Unacceptable.
Did you hear Lindsey Graham say that we've run out of them?
Oh my God, what he was just like, we get to unalive whoever we want, is basically what he said. We're unaliving them. Lindsey Graham, absolute billionaire puppet fascist, monster human being.
Hold on. What'd you say, Chris?
I just said they're like enjoying it. You know what I mean? Like they're like sort of showboating or like basically like just rubbing it in people's faces like that they can do this. They have impunity and they're still going to get campaign donations to be there. I mean, there's people in Congress that are calling for other Congress members to be deported or to be unalived or things like that. I mean, it's unbelievable that anybody would give anybody like that any money. Like, how is that a good leader in your community? I don't understand it. So if the money is going to keep flowing to these people that are like this, like that's where this no money thing comes in. I mean, we all are agreed. I think like you talk to people on the street, everybody's upset about something. They don't know how to fix it, right? But they have the things that they're upset about, and if you can convalesce and understand that the money at the root of everything is really what's hurting us, that we don't have real leaders. The real leaders are supposed to be looking for this crap, and they can't because they're the people that are doing it. It's a sad scenario, especially for all the people that grew up in this country and feel, you feel American. You feel like we should be doing the right thing most of the time. That's the way it should work. And it just totally bugs me that we're at the place that we're at right now.
Is there anything that the Congress can be doing about the Cube people right now? Like, is there some legislation that could be passed, or is this solely under the executive branch?
There's a
Go ahead.
yeah, what you're talking about today, and that saying was it's going to take an act of Congress to get something done. And when you are dealing with the fact that nothing's getting completed, it's going to take an act of Congress to make sure that thing get completed. So to answer the question, straightforward, I'm gonna be real candid here. It's gonna take an act of Congress to make sure that the government do its job. So yes, Congress has a lot that it could be doing. However, they choose to and continue to choose to sit here and partisan politics while issues like this, any other issue is and becoming more than just a partisan issue. It's becoming more than what the United States can bear. And if they realize that they have to do their job, then it's going to be a rainy day in hell when they actively sit down and do their job.
I brought one more person up here, Mr. Rodney Glover. He is running for governor. Look, we got them all. We got a state representative, we got a federal representative, we got a federal senator, and a governor of Florida. Like, y'all, this is what we need, y'all. This is the change this country needs right now. So, welcome to the panel, Mr. Glover.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm driving, so if I pop out, I just saw it and just was tuning in.
No problem. Just stay. Yeah, you can just listen in. If you hear something you want to chime in on, just come off mute and give your 2 cents, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was next? We was talking about what the Congress can do. Who was about the Q people?
Yeah, I mean, I would absolutely say there's a ton Congress can be doing right now, and instead they are abdicating to the president. I mean, all the memes about the Speaker of the House out there are, pretty accurate because he's like, oh, whatever he says. And if you look at what the Republicans have been doing over the past 16 years, it's a lot of that. They actually like declined to make a platform during one of the elections. I remember reading about it and I'm just like, oh my God. But they declined to change their platform at all. The platform is whatever the president wants to do, who is the current president right now. I don't know if you can say that or not, but that's their agenda. Whatever he wants to do. And what he wants to do is Trump Incorporated. So the people that should be doing this, the people that represent us, are Congress. That's the check. And my argument this election is that the check now, it's down to us, folks. It's down to the people. So we can, I've grown up, I'm 36 years old. I've heard people say how it doesn't matter, voting doesn't matter what you do, I'm just going to take care of myself, all those things. It does matter. And now that the Supreme Court has failed, now that the presidency has gone this direction, and now that the Congress is willing to, with who is in charge of it right now, give people power, give someone power that's not their branch, we're in a very dangerous situation. There's a lot that can happen right now, and Congress is the one who should be standing up and doing something about it, and they're not. And they're MIA. I was messaging with someone the other day, 49 days, I think it's up to 50 days of vacation. They've been, that the House has been not in session. They're not there. Maybe some of them are there, but on C-SPAN, you can see that Congress is empty right now. While we all are upset, while we all demand answers from them, they're not coming to talk to us. They're probably golfing.
Craziness. That's craziness.
I can tell you.
Hold on 1 second. I wanted to. What is it? Osawana?
Chiwana.
Osiwana.
Yes.
And what office are you running for?
I'm running for state delegate, which is in Maryland and Virginia. That's what they consider their state representatives.
Yes. I'm a resident of Maryland. I live in Temple Hills. Yes.
Yeah, I'm running in Hagerstown, a very conservative
area. Oh my. Okay. All right. So we got a state delegate. Can I get a school board member or a councilman? Like this is our government at work here, guys. Love it. Go ahead, Rio. What would you like to add to that?
Forgive me. I apologize. Go ahead. Skip me for a second. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Rodney. Oh, Rodney, I thought you wanted to say something. You're not on mute. Oh, I think he's not.
To piggyback off of what Christopher said, briefly, it's really time that we highlight what the incumbents are doing. Let's go ahead and highlight what they're doing because guess what? It is a whole lot of nothing. They ain't doing nothing. When you sit down and you look at their track record and it does not align with what you believe in, you should be doing something. You shouldn't be sitting down. You shouldn't be, not choosing not to vote whatsoever the line says of that. Congress, somebody said down in the comment section that Congress has been out almost for 2 whole entire months, and they're still getting paid for not doing their job. Imagine you go to work and you be sitting down for 2 hours, and your boss walk past those 2 hours, and he's looking at you like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you not moving?" What's gonna happen? You're gonna get fired. You're gonna get said to go home since you don't want to work. So why should we elect those incumbents that are actively doing nothing actively taking their paycheck and not doing their job. Why should we put them back in the same seat just to turn around for them to do the same exact thing over and over and over again? That's why we're here now. Because we fail to realize and understand that when it comes down to the government, there's a contract that we signed with the government that is supposed to be doing its job and protecting the people regardless. That is non-negotiable. That is the social construct that America is supposed to uphold. And if we're not going to uphold that system, there's no longer it's really pointless to call this a democracy, because then it comes down to the point of what are you willing to lose to actually make a change? And we've seen in 2024 and 2025 that a lot of people felt so comfortable that they didn't went out and vote. That this man had to take food stamps, had Medicaid and Medicare, had to deport American citizens for you to get up and go to the polls and vote in 25. You shouldn't be comfortable just because you feel like everything is okay at that moment. Because that same feeling of comfortability can easily change with a sign of a pen. And that's what people fail to realize, that anything can change with paper and pen. As soon as
Speaking.
Congress passed that bill that says you can't do anything, and if it's like a human right, like for an example, when it comes down to the right of healthcare for women, if they say that you can't do anything, you should be concerned, because the Ninth Amendment states, and it's verbatim, that the state government nor the federal government should be infringing upon the rights that not in the Constitution. And if you know that your rights is covered by the Constitution, you shouldn't be sitting out. You shouldn't be sitting out. And that's where we're sitting at right now. That a lot of people needs to be uncomfortable with their current status of their government and actually get up and vote.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Baker, Osawana,
So
what would you
yes,
like to
so
say?
if you guys didn't know, I'm currently running in a deeply conservative area. And so I've been reaching out and talking to a lot of conservatives in this local area. And we're seeing a common theme that a lot of people are not liking what Congress is doing. And this is something that I have prided myself to do as a candidate, is to talk to everybody, because we need more politicians and more incumbent people that are willing to talk to people that are not particularly are going to vote for them. And that's what I pride myself to do. And my current incumbent, Matt Schindler, what's for a better lack of words, he's a bootlicker. he is a Democrat, but he is a bootlicker. He would rather lick the boot and sit there and remain quiet instead of get up and fight. And that's why here in Hagerstown we see the crime rate extremely high, and we're seeing the OD rates extremely high and smug rates extremely high. And we need somebody that is willing to stand up and fight against these people, even if it means to risk their life. And that's what I'm going to do. And, recently I just got into a big situation, and it had caused me a couple of bit of political discourse. And Matt Schindler sat down and did not defend me. Just sat there and just made a blanket statement, without informing me of anything. And I think that we need more people, especially elected officials, that are willing to fight, even if it means for them to be hated. And that's what I'm willing to do as a candidate. I'm willing to fight if I'm elected, no matter what, even if I'm hated by the entire party.
Absolutely good. Rio, are you ready or?
Yeah. Essentially, yes. They've been taking this break, this vacation, right? They're vacationing on our dime right now, and let's just talk about West Virginia and our red slate of representatives, all red, right? 2 in the House, 2 in the Senate. Jim Justice, the richest senator with tons of tax legal issues right now. He owes us millions, and he's the richest in the Senate. And Shelley Capito, another millionaire. Also, that's technically whose seat I'm vying for. And the Senate is saying that they're working. Oh, we've passed 14 continuing resolutions, while they continue to ignore the fact that the big brutal bill to completely slash the ACA subsidies. So Democrats are just trying to make sure that the ACA subsidies don't expire. But that's beside the point. This is like, at the barrel of a boom boom that they're holding us. And it's clear just from the total lack of a willingness to even stare us in the face. These Republican puppets of these billionaires aren't going to hold a town hall here in West Virginia. They haven't, and they're not going to, because they know that they're not accountable. They know that they can't stare us in the face. They know that these policies are horrible. It's almost as if they know there won't be a 2026 midterms. Call me crazy, but it seems like that's how they're acting, because how the heck do you call yourself a public servant, continue accepting the checks, continue claiming to be a representative, and yet don't even hold a town hall when you're not required to be in DC? What are you doing? How do you not have a town hall? How do you not have multiples? You should be having one like 3 or 4 a week. Nope, nothing. Mum's the word. Crickets is all we hear. So this is where the more people facing, the more town halls that you can do, the more pressing of the flesh, the more that's the stuff. WWZD. What would Zoran do? If he wouldn't do it, you might think about not doing it. If he would do it, you should think about maybe doing it.
Absolutely. All right. Anyone else has? We got about 30 more minutes left in this great conversation. But I want to move into some global things. So, but if anybody else has anything on the state of our nation,
Just want to be like, amen to what Rio said. You know what I mean? Like, I just think everybody is like jacked up right now, and it's going to be an interesting election. It really is. Like, this much energy a whole year out. I can't wait to see what it looks like in November next year.
absolutely, absolutely. So, as I said, our global affairs. We are having issues with Venezuela. We're giving money to. Give it to me, y'all. Who we gave the money to?
Tina.
Argentina. Thank you. A in my head is A in my head, but I couldn't come with Argentina. But we still have not resolved this conflict that's happening over in the Middle East with the I country and the and I'm gonna say the Palestinians. But it's funny to me that I saw something the other day that they're now labeling it the I country against Hamas or the H people. Instead of saying that they are.
Be right back, guys. Something amazing just happened. I'll be right back. I will still be here. I'll be right back.
Stay right there. All right. Instead of putting a name or a name to the faces that have been truly harmed in all of this, which is the Palestine people, they rather say it's the I country against the H people. So it doesn't feel like they're doing something wrong. So, like I said, we could touch on any of those. Which of those things, and like I said, we haven't even also touched that we haven't resolved the conflict over in Siberia. You know, to the north of us, our friends across the Bering Strait, those people. So, what issue do you think is probably the most pressing of all of those that needs to get addressed right now? And I'm going to start with Mr. Baker first.
Thank you. I think, like I said, the money that Trump sent to Argentina, which was, I think it was pretty sure it was $40 billion. And it was during the government shutdown, right? And I said this to my campaign manager just the other day. I said, I find it ironic that this administration can find these funds in the midst of where he says he cannot find these funds. And Congress says they cannot find these funds. But he has $40 billion just to throw at a country. And instead, we have American citizens that are about to go hungry. But he can find funding for whatever. And I think that's a pressing issue. And it needs to be addressed. And that's why I'm looking forward to midterms, because even if I don't win, at least I know that we're going to get a blue wave. We're going to get an extremely big blue wave. And the American people are going to be able to eat, have all these things without having to worry about them being snatched. And I think that that's concerning that we have a president that would rather throw money at a bunch of other countries while we have our own people here that are going hungry, that are sick, that are losing health care. And I find that pressing and it's disgusting. And I could never support a man that could take away from American citizens. And that's where I yield.
Absolutely. Mr. Glover?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I am back in, and I think I just want to bring some perspective to every bit of it. You know, at the last interview you gave me, I listened to every single person on here. Article 1, Section 5 is what's allowing Congress not to answer to its citizens. You need to, if you're running for these offices, point out the legislation, the statutory legislation, the constitutional legislation that's holding citizens from holding these individuals accountable. We're continuing to have these conversations over and over. But the number one thing is, if you look at Article 1, Section 5, it does not write into Article 1, Section 5 any accountability to citizens. It says that those constitutional congressional members that we represent only hold themselves accountable. To ask yourselves, why won't they answer to you or hold these town halls or do these things? I know in the state of Florida, Statute 100.361 says we don't hold any of our representative accountable along with Article 1, Section 5. We have a much bigger issue, even though we can recognize all the other issues. The accountability piece, not to citizens, is constitutional. If we can't fix these root cause issues, we're always going to have the modicum that comes off of these. And you're going to have citizens saying, how come they don't do this? Why don't they do this? I'm asking every single person running, identify the legislation that's in the way of you holding them accountable. By now, we should have all seen something that triggered all states to ask citizens if we should be voting to put these individuals back to work. I don't care if they never agree, but you need to be at work. But because we don't have an access or a pathway to do these things, I'm wondering why are people running for these offices if we haven't identified, or you haven't identified, the root cause? If you're going to ask your constituents to back you, how are they going to do that if they have no legislative access to even hold you accountable when you get in office? That's one of the main things that's a problem in Florida. How are we asking citizens to say, hey, I need your support, but once I get in office, I have a statute that says you can no longer hold me accountable? That's the exact same thing at the federal level. The Constitution says that we cannot hold them accountable, and they're just doing exactly what the Constitution allows. And I know we're you guys have made some of the best arguments, but can we please get people? I don't know how long it's going to take to get good people in office that are going to want to change these rules. I know it's not going to be instantaneous, but if we don't change these root cause rules, we're going to have the same argument where you guys have a blue wave, and after the blue wave, if problems happen, they're going to be screaming red wave. It's been the same for so long. And it's because I've never heard a single candidate before myself argue to change the rules. I just haven't heard one. I've heard many people say, we need to work together. You can't work together if no one can be held accountable. So who are you asking to work with?
Absolutely.
I've been trying to figure this part out. So, I'm really imploring upon you, if you haven't looked at Article 1, Section 5, if you haven't looked in your state to see the actual statutes that are not allowing you to be held accountable, then go out and look at the non-elected citizens, the ones that aren't running. And then you can see why maybe they've lost hope, because no one's telling them, hey, these are the exact reasons that we're running up against these problems. Because I would love to ask citizens. Let's ask the citizens, hey, should we open the government back up, and see how many of them actually said yes? Because they may also say no. Because let's just say both sides get a chance to have their argument while it's closed. Then that triggers to open something up for the government for the government to say, hey, citizens, tell us what you want to see. Maybe citizens are also saying no. But you know what? If you hold them accountable or have a way to hold them accountable, I don't think we see so many shutdowns in our future. But until we figure that out, this whole conversation, it's just going to be a cyclic problem, And again, I think I've listened to a lot of great ideas, but I've yet to hear root cause solutions to these problems.
Thank you, thank you. And for those who don't know, Mr. Rodney is running unaffiliated as governor of Florida, so no R, no D behind his name at this moment. Go ahead, Christopher.
Yeah, I want to hit on that. I totally think that you are hitting on a really good point. And that's one of the things that I'm doing as part of my campaign is circulating a bill of the people that will put that accountability in by reducing congressional benefits, by making sure that they are not financed through dark money that we can't see. That's a root cause. And I would argue the root cause of what we see is that it is this money that has come into our electoral process. What I would say is that the way we hold them accountable, and by the way, he's totally right, like Supreme Court, they're supposed to police themselves, if you can believe that or not. And apparently now with what the Supreme Court has ruled, the president also, right, can do no wrong or something. So that is just a crazy situation. But I would argue that the way that we hold these people accountable is through elections, or it's supposed to be. And if your elections are bought and paid for, and your candidates are bought and paid for, and it takes $5 million just to be relevant or even be considered, they raised $13 million just for the Democratic candidate in my area. That is a situation where the people don't have a check, just like you say. And that is what we need to change. And I will tell you this, none of the people that are there that are part of that system have any incentive to change their own benefits to be less attractive, to stop themselves from being able to trade stocks while they're up there, to stop themselves from being able to join a lobbying firm after they leave. All of that stuff is part of my bill of the people. So I will get you that, and I will get anybody that. And I think it takes independent candidates to bring this up. I mean, we need some independence in offices all around the country, and it's unprecedented. And it has to happen. The people are the last stop. There's no other person that's going to save us, I think, except ourselves.
If you could touch on real quick, my question was about which of these global atrocities should be at the forefront.
Yeah, I mean, all of them are horrific, right? So whether you're talking about Sudan, whether you're talking about murdering people in Venezuela and like attacking a country, whether you talk about the I country and Palestine and what's going on there. I mean, I'm a Palestinian American. My family is Christian from Ramallah, Palestine. And I will tell you that we have colonized Palestine since 1948. Since the British left, it has been American money. It has been American weapons that have done what they've done. And they've got a situation now where millions of the population of Palestine live outside the country. And there's no way, like if Americans knew about this really, like if it had been publicized and they had understood and there wasn't a huge campaign to cover this up and keep it quiet, our leaders would be held accountable in the way that now, because we have social media and we're seeing it, they are being held accountable and they are panicking. They think that's why oligarchy is coming to America right now. They are panicked and they think that now that we know, we might do something about it. And I think that I would advocate that we do something about it. But I think
if I could slap a label on it, corporate imperialism has to come to an end. I'm not an anti-capitalist. I'm a pro-humane capitalist, meaning inhumane capitalism is a non-starter. And I want to just share something that just happened, the most magical experience that just happened. While I've been live with all of you, I've also been downtown Charleston, West Virginia with my team that I've been building and shooting and strategizing simultaneously while talking with all of you. And somebody drove by and it just reinforced everything about why I'm doing this. Someone drove by, reached out of their window and was like, is that is that Rio? I don't get recognized often, guys. I'm not exactly a local celebrity or anything. This person reached out of their car and was like, is that Rio Phillips? Literally reached out. She said she had to drive around the block, come back around because she's like, holy crap. She's like, support this man for Senate. She's like, he stands for the working class. I've been following you on social media. Keep it up. You do you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like jaw on the floor. Jaw on the floor. This does not happen to me regularly. It was magic. My two supporters were jaws on the floor. Every one of us, we were taking shots and video. Like, oh my gosh, can you say that again for the camera? That was magic. Wow. This when you do people powered, like the organic moments are where it is. It is everything. Zoran mastered it. And the more that we can study these organic moments, the more you care about what will impact their lives, and they know it and they say it. It is about them putting their voices, because we all want the same thing. And when we want because we want the same thing, and the working class knows it, centering them, centering their struggle. Nothing could be more important right now. It is all about putting them at the very forefront on camera with their voices. And if they're supportive, great. If they're not, that's equally as important. Your ability to stand toe to toe with those you disagree with and not be inhumane is what will define you. And it is a definitive character trait of true leaders in the era moving forward. And that is why Zoran has won, because he is clearly a compassionate leader. And he's clearly listening to the people. And those organic moments, they're everything. We've watched them by the dozen. And we love them. We like them. Our algorithm gets tricked out with them. And I'm thankful for that. That's what I want my algorithm for. That's why I signed up for social media, to participate in movements like that. I'm happy to help the man get elected. He deserves to be elected. The Cuomo dynasty is over. This is a moment of celebration. We know the oligarchy can be hacked away. We know that they're on the run. We know that they're scared. So if we drag so hard to the left this country with progressive populism, and we wind up at Old Center, and I've said this before on the show, I think, if we wind up at Old Center, that's a success. Back to the way it was for just a second. We don't stop there, but hell, stopping where we used to be to just take a note and be like, wow, we're getting some gains. I'm putting the vision out there. I know we can bring us back to reality. I know we can bring us back from the edge of oblivion. And I'm in West Virginia staring a red 70-30 electorate split in the face. And I can speak from the bottom of my heart. I know that they do not hold this state. It is more purple than they would ever let on. It's all branding and imaging and marketing. No, 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 no. We were blue for 80 years. Most of the grandpappies around here voted blue with the Union. And I've got to reinvigorate. My job is to reinvigorate what happened for a long time. We had Blair Mountain here. For those of you that don't know, Blair Mountain was when the Union rose up with teeth and claws and stood up to the corporate robber barons. That happened here in West Virginia. And we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again. This whole campaign is dedicated to that spirit. Thank you for listening, guys. I'm sorry. I'm in a special space.
You guys, look, that excited you. Jay, you could comment on what you feel like things need to be, or you can address what I had put out there. It's up to you.
I want to address what you put out there. I know it may be a state representative, but I'm still, at the end of the day, I'm still an American. I'm still an American. And we always have the moment of we don't want to be involved with conflicts that have no interest for America. And that's the main thing. We don't want to be involved. And so I believe that our National Guard troops shouldn't have to be forced to be involved in a conflict that is unjust. And if there's any loophole for a sovereign state like Georgia to say, hey, we don't want our troops to be deployed because we don't feel like we should support what's going on right now, we should have the power to do so. We should have the power to say what we want our National Guard troops to do and what we don't want them to do. Um, I we've been watching and we've been seeing lately that now that the international affairs is heating up, it is getting ready to boil over, and it's going to take one conflict to drive the whole entire world into war. And we don't want that. And so it's coming to what someone said earlier to change the rules. We have to change the rules where we make sure that our people, that our brothers, that our sisters, our mothers and aunties are not being pushed into a conflict that we have nothing to do with. We don't even have to fund a conflict that we have nothing to do with. If our interest is not there, if it does not lie within the interest of America or the state of Georgia, if it does not benefit us, then we're not going to be there. We have to learn that right now, before we even talk about other countries' issues, we have issues that needs to be addressed if we so call ourselves the richest countries in the world. We can have $36 trillion in the GDP, but at the same time, where that money's going? It's not going into the homeless communities across each and every state. It's not going into the child that is inside Texas that want to be a doctor. It's not going into the teacher that is working hard in the classroom in Georgia. It's sure enough going to the hardworking mothers around Washington, California, Oregon, and the other states. It's not going there. So now it comes down to what we're going to do as leaders to make sure that we actively. My bad. My phone. But I was saying that we have to put the people above anything else. And that is including foreign affairs. We have to worry about ourselves first. It might sound selfish, but realistically, and the mental health side of things, you can't fix other people if yourself not fix if you not fix yourself. And that's the main thing. America will not fix. We're not healed. We have to focus on ourselves first before we go and wanting to fix another country. And that's my thing there on foreign affairs. And that's my thing on these other conflicts too. We can talk about them, we can advocate with them, but at the end of the day, what are we doing to support our own country that has a lot of issues, that have a lot of problems? So that's what needs to be addressed first. It's us, then them, then we can focus on making sure that we have a better country and a better world where peace is supported.
All right, that was perfect, Jay. Thank you so much for that. I do see a question from someone in the audience, which I think is probably to Jay's point here, the most important question. As leaders, what do you, each of you, what are you going to do to unite the left and the right? Because that seems to be where the biggest hiccup is for me right now in this country is they have us divided, and we really don't need to be this divided. So,
May I? May I? I'm like, my hands in the air. May I? I would love to jump in on this. Okay.
yeah.
So when I innovate this platform, one of the things that I didn't want to do was play into old paradigms. I felt like I needed to innovate a paradigm. And a lot of the old paradigm is divisive. I use a phrase that I know will help me build bridges and not burn them. My phrase is pro-medical freedom. When it comes to abortion, I want choice for all women. I want no government in any doctor's office, period.
AB.
AB, is that what you said?
You can't say the board
AB,
word.
got it.
AB.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. All right, AB. So I want no governments or no politicians in any doctor's offices, right? That has to apply to everybody. The freedom of everyone to have bodily autonomy and medical freedom is I believe at the very core of what freedom is, meaning you and your doctor decide what's best for you. You and your doctor decide what's best for your children. That, I believe, is a guiding principle for me. So to that end, I say that everyone deserves the right to choose, and that the right to choose is the right of medical freedom.
Together, Rio. That is one of the biggest issues they divided on.
Yeah, I think if you say that the right to choose belongs to the left when it comes to AB, you're being disingenuous about the folks on the right that want the right to choose when it comes to other issues. So I see that medical freedom is a uniting issue where if they can start to, the more reasonable Republicans and not the fundamentalist MAGA extremists can start to come to, and I think there's a lot of folks like this, by the way, because they understand that, like, let's say, a young girl gets SA'd and then now she's pregnant with a child, and under these Republican draconian laws, obviously she's going to be forced to birth that child, which is just monstrous. So I think there's a lot of reasonable, humane people out there that can see that that's monstrous and open up to a more expansive conversation. I believe that happens under medical freedom. That's my proposal. I've found that allows me to speak with the right on a much more friendlier basis, because I want them to know that I don't want to be a government politician in their doctor's office as well. Yeah.
I like this question, and the reason why I like this question is because it brings a new perspective. Um, I'm we're gonna first highlight this. I'm 21 years old. I am like you, American citizen. That's where we can start. That we have something in common, that we live in the United States. The next thing is this. A lot of people want to actively buy and afford a home. I want to afford a home. Hell, I want to even afford a car. But in this current economy, we can't. That's the second thing we have in common, that we cannot do anything in this economy unless you make above poverty. And a lot of Americans don't do that. And then we also have to realize that each and every last one of us have a very special set of skills. And with those very special set of skills, we can work together to ensure that our communities is upheld. We can make sure that everyone have a voice. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. You still have something that we need to talk about. And let's have that conversation. We might not agree eye to eye, but we still can have that dialogue, that dialect, that conversation. And and there's a video that I have on Instagram that actively show that if you have a moment just to sit down and talk, you can understand that we all are alike. And we all have visions. We all have dreams that we want in our lifetime. You shouldn't have to work multiple jobs just to get by. That's another thing we agree on. But it's all about how. And we have to come to the table and talk about how we want things done. So one of I'm going to show people that is a brand new way of governing is sitting in a room with the citizens, sitting in a room with professionals that actively have to live through the policies that I have to pass. I might not know everything. I might not be Einstein, but I sure enough can tell you that we can do this together. You have to trust me, and I have to trust you. It works both ways. So if you trust me, I trust you, we can work together. The last thing that we can do together is hold each other accountable. If I said I'm going to do something and I didn't do it, or I haven't read it, or if it's not introduced, then it's up to you to be like, hey, representative, you say you were going to introduce this bill last week and you haven't even wrote it yet. What's the issue? Right. And if I see that one of my colleagues isn't doing anything, I'm like, hey, don't vote for this person. They're hindering my process. I'm trying to pass this bill. This is what this bill is going to do, and they're not doing it. Don't vote for this person. Right? They're not doing anything. We have to keep in mind that this works both ways. We can connect with the citizens and the citizens connect with us, but we have to be transparent. We have to be transparent with each other.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we have to open up too. We can't sit and be closed minded. Just because I'm a Democrat does not mean I'm not going to represent you. Just because you voted against me, I'm still your representative. I still have to listen to you. And that's what we have to start. Active listening is the huge thing. And that's the main thing we need to learn is how to connect with our voters, how to connect with people that didn't vote for us, and what to do next.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Go ahead, Mr. Baker.
If it does not come to a surprise, if you look into my platform, one of the biggest things that I have prided myself on doing is hearing everybody out. So that means whether they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, as elected officials or as someone that is running for office, our goal is to listen to everybody as a collective whole. And I think how it starts, as it starts, is by coming to a medium, like Jay said, coming to find things that we both agree on, whether that be animal rights, whether that be AB rights, whether that be no matter what right or no matter what it is, we need to find a medium where we can all agree on and we can all tackle that as a whole. Because let's face facts here. There's going to be things that everyone disagrees on. There's going to be things, well, I believe that AB is wrong. Well, I don't believe that AB is wrong. We're going to have things that we disagree on. But we all, as people, have a collective understanding on certain issues, right? Where we can say, well, we believe that an average American should not have to work 5 or 6 jobs just to provide for their family or have to put a plate on the table. So, okay, right? My Republican constituents, how can we get something passed to benefit the average Marylander? What can we do to benefit the average working Marylander? So I think that starts off with each other stop attacking each other's throats and coming at each other. And instead of dividing people, that's how we unite, is by coming to a collective understanding of what we all agree on. And instead, how about we don't worry about the issues that we disagree on? Because that's not benefiting anybody. Us coming to the House of Delegates or Congress or Senate, we're too busy fighting with each other on what we disagree on. What we should be doing is we should be working together on what we do agree on. Because if we disagree on something, nothing's going to get passed. Let's face facts. The Republican, what's going on right now. The Republicans hold the majority in Congress, and they're not wanting to pass something because they don't agree with it. They don't agree with it at all. And that's what's going to happen. We're going to have government shutdowns. We're going to have moments where people go hungry, where people can't get their Social Security benefits. We're going to have people suffering because as people, we can't agree. But that's what the American people elected us to do, is to agree and find things that we agree on to get passed. And that's where I yield.
For that, I'm gonna finish off with you, Christopher. Go ahead, Ms.
Rob, did he get a chance to go?
No, that's what I said. I'm gonna finish off with you. I'm going to tell Rodney to go right now.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I think what's going to bring us together, honestly, is creating a new box. I learned from the last interview that you gave me. People were like, "Hey, are you liberal? Are you conservative? Are you progressive? You need to pick something." I think we need to create a new box that puts them all in there. So, I was thinking about that tonight, and I said, what I take in data, I analyze, I look at what's going on, and then I make a decision. I think I personally need to tell people that, hey, you need to be an informationalist. You need to just be able to get some information and based on that information, decide what's best for you and your surroundings. You don't necessarily always have to consider the entirety of a community, because sometimes we're not all experiencing the same things. But if you're an informationalist, then at least we can find a foundation where we can start to weed out misinformation and disinformation. Because everybody now is identifying as people who analyze, who gather information, who interpret, and then who, ultimately converse about that like we're doing right now. We have to, and just something I'm noticing is whenever I'm talking to somebody, they always want to put me in a box. Hey, do you identify with me, specifically with me? And it's like, hey, I'm an informationalist. It gives me an opportunity then to explain what that is and show you how that can encompass whether or not you're liberal, progressive, or whatever you want to be. You need the information to back what you are identifying as. So hopefully if I can get people to just look at the data, look at the information, then maybe, just maybe, we can get a good stepping stone, because this information's got us all over the place. Where we get it from, who it's coming from, and how it is being regurgitated has become so detrimental to communicating, which is why I focus on very, very small things. Because I've listened, we can get way off into the weeds. And I know me, I'm just the type of person that I just need to know, hey, what can we do about it no matter how far deep we get into the weeds? Can we do anything about it as a collective? If not, gather your information, figure out how we're going to do it. Because if I got to keep depending on the minority representatives to do right by all these hundreds of millions of people, I got a problem with that. I personally, but that's what I think needs to happen. I think that I need to teach people, and including myself, to consistently identify as an informationalist and let the information guide my choices. Because like I said, I don't think we're ever going to be in a place where we're going to legislate morality. So let's just try to get a handle on the information at best.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Now, OVC, everyone here listening in, I decided to end with Christopher because he is the brains behind this roundtable. It's something that he had previously been doing. He wanted to keep it up when the other parties decided they couldn't do it anymore. And OVC graciously offered our space for this great conversation. So I want to give a personal thank you to him, but definitely give a major thank you to you all for coming here and having this conversation. Chris, tell us, how can we unite the left and the right?
I think it's something where we're in a space now where common sense is what unites us. I think that there's so many issues that we actually have like broad consensus on. We just don't know it because the party system has gotten really good at having us fight each other and not realize what's going on in the background. Whether we're talking about just like fair taxation of billionaires or the way we elect candidates not being more weighted towards how much money you have than your voice and your vote. How we have problems with, the police both being asked to do probably and being demonized, like all these things. Like lots of people go into that field. They want to do good. They want to protect. They want to serve. They really do. And I think where you can help with that is having non-police emergency responders and making it dynamic so that they are part of the community. I went to a really, really cool event. There's a partnership in Arizona with the Islamic community and the police. And I went to this event where they were talking about it, and it is something where it has enriched their communities as opposed to being something where there's a place for conflict. There's so much science that I think people agree on, right? Like science, we get $2.50 for every dollar we put towards that. It makes our lives better. There's probably a lot of science we're not doing because it's not profitable that we need to do. Everybody agrees on some of this stuff, and when I did a podcast with the True Representation Movement earlier this year, that was one of the things that we talked about. There's like hundreds of things that actually there's bipartisan support for that don't get done. So in terms of bringing in both sides, I think it will be a huge, huge, huge thing, whether Democrat or Republican or independent, if there are people in Congress that are in the middle. Those people will become very, very, influential and be able, like if they come out with a bill, the Democrats and Republicans will have to respond. If the Democrats have a bill, the independents will either be with them or against them, or the middle people, the progressive populists, I think someone said earlier. If there's real leaders that are accountable to the people, not being bought and paid for, like we were talking about, there can be deregulation. There can still be all the stuff that we need. We can actually like get Congress to be responsive to the people if we put enough people in there who can get campaign finance reform done. And I think that too, everybody can agree on that we want to be represented not by how much money is in our pocket, but by the fact that we are an American. We all have different places. Lots of people, money is not everything for everybody. We all contribute how we can. And I think we all largely work very hard in this country. And so that's what I want to do. I want to go up there. I want to work hard. I want to empower this movement so that people can actually have leadership in representation for them and not just have people that are there cashing checks and taking vacations. So I'm really thrilled with how this has gone. I think we should definitely keep up events like this, lives like this, panels like this. I would love to see maybe next time if we have some people come up and ask questions, or if we get like a different group of candidates, whatever. Maybe it's not that I'm involved in it every time, but I would love to be. So we need to build a national movement, and tools like this make it possible. And people want to be in that national movement. They feel it out there. Both the events that I went to today were electric. People were really excited to do something. And that's cool. So thank you guys all for coming. Thank you, OVC, for picking up the torch and getting this done. And I really just appreciate all the people who have listened. It shows that we have support, and it shows that it's possible that a year from now, we can have a very, very different, but very, very much more like American America.
Correct. I agree. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to start with Mr. Baker. As he said, he had a couple of things to say, but I want you all to remind the audience of where you're running, what you're running for, and just let the folks know how they can support you. Go ahead, start this off, Mr. Baker.
Okay, so there's two things that I wanted to talk about that I think a lot of politicians or even candidates, I wouldn't say necessarily are fearful of talking about, but are kind of overlooked because it's not an issue that's well talked about. Sexual assault and animal rights. So I want to start off with sexual assault. So if you guys did not know, the Department of Justice, or the DOJ, has cut over $180 billion to resources to the federal government when it comes to sexual assault victims and domestic violence victims. It's a problem that's overlooked quite frequently, and sexual assault is anyone's susceptible to it. Doesn't matter who you are, black, white, brown, LGBTQ, male or female, or in between. It doesn't matter who you are. You're susceptible to it. Anybody is. And these rights that these victims have is so overlooked, and especially here in Maryland, there's not a lot of resources. And so the biggest thing that on my campaign trail that I have been really focused on expanding is sexual assault resources. That meaning being legal support, meaning there be easy access to over the phone resources or groups. There's not many of those. I remember when I was assaulted, the nearest one to me was an hour and a half away. The nearest support group was an hour and a half away from me. And I didn't have a car at the time. So I didn't have anyone that I could personally connect to that had experienced something like that. And, a lot of people say, a lot of people overlook that, where someone that has experienced something, whether it be alcoholism, whether it be assault, it's important to surround yourself around people that have experienced that so that you don't feel alone in that scenario. So that's one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people should start looking into in their states, to see if their states have resources like that. And even if they do, are they look into it? Even if your state, like Christopher, you live in Arizona. Let's say that Arizona, right? They may have some resources, but look into it. Are they accessible resources to everybody? Meaning that, is this person in this bootleg small town able to access something without driving 2 hours away to a whole nother county? And that goes for everybody. That's important to look into, because these resources are not easily accessible in certain parts of states. And especially I wanted to talk point on animal rights. A lot of people don't talk about that. A lot of people don't look into that. That's something that I've been focused on my campaign trail as well as looking into what I can do at a state level if elected. What can I do at a state level to better our atmosphere and better our ecosystems? Because let's face it, if our ecosystems fail, we fail too. If our planet fails, we fail too. And if animals go, we go too. And that's the biggest thing that I think everybody in every state, whether it be all 50 states, should look into doing something like those things that I brought up, because those are important, because it affects almost everybody, not if anyone, if you get what I mean.
Absolutely. So again, remind everyone where you're running for, what you're running for, where you're running, and how they can support you.
I guess I'll go again.
Yes.
By the way, my name is Oshiwana Elizabeth Baker, or Oshiwana E. Baker. I am based out of Maryland. I am originally from New York. Well, born in Maryland, raised in New York. I am currently running for state delegate in District 2B, which is Hagerstown, Maryland, which is the Washington County area. The best way to support me is by following me on this account or going to my other account, which is Timo Shiwana, and then also visiting my website. I don't ask for donations, but if you feel that this is a good cause, feel free to donate. The website is in my link tree, right in my my bio. You can tap on there and you can look at all the stuff that I do. My website has some really cool little nits and tricks to it, but that's really about it. I don't want to take anyone else's time. I love you all, and remember that we're in this for the good fight, and we got to continue to fight for the American people.
Thank you so much. Mr. Rodney, let everyone know what you're running for, where you're running, how they can support you.
Yes, how you doing again? My name is Rodney Glover. I am running for governor of Florida. My entire campaign is ensuring that citizens have more control over their government than their government has over citizens by way of giving citizens more access to legislation that goes on throughout our years, so we can do more than just vote every 4 years. You can find all my information on my link tree on the bio. You can find how to support. My entire page is pretty interactive. I've been working pretty hard this weekend, so I'm proud of it. But it's very interactive on the link tree. Get out there and definitely question your candidates. That's huge for me. You make sure that you ask anybody that you're going to vote for how statutorily or constitutionally they're able to hold you accountable. Don't get into all those emotions with them. Don't get into those emotions with me. You just make sure that I'm telling you, hey, by this means right here, I'm accountable to you. If you don't get those answers, then you need to start asking these individuals to tell you how they're going to make sure that you are accountable, because that's like the grassroots and the ground foundation for what I'm trying to do, which is literally change the rules. So I do appreciate everybody giving me an opportunity to hear my little pieces and throw it in there, and look forward to being invited in the future.
All right, thank you. Rio.
Thank you so much. I love OVC. Like, this is becoming a mainstay, and I see it getting really big as the primary ramps. So I'm happy to see that and participate in that. And for anybody that's interested, the link in my bio is an Act Blue link. I very consciously do not put working class dollars into ads on Facebook and pump money to Zuckerberg. So the more folks that I can inspire to sign up for a $26 a month for 2026, kind of like a subscription model to justice, better than, Disney Plus. So, that's kind of the way that I'm putting it. If you want to go to Rio for Senate, that's FOR Senate.com. That has my platform positions and policies. It has my bio. It has merchandise. The t-shirts and the hoodies actually have a QR code that goes to the website. So in case a campaigner or a canvasser doesn't have literature when they're doing work, then you could just turn around and have them QR scan and it takes them right there. So that's really it between RioForSenate.com and the Act Blue link in my bio. That's really it. But I like we talked about so much on this panel, I don't focus on the money as much. It's one of the reasons I raise a lot less than my competitor, because I'm focused more on pressing the flesh and being with the people. And also the folks that I'm representing are some of the poorest folks in the whole country, or seeking to represent anyway. And West Virginia is basically 49th in economy. We come up at the very bottom of the barrel on almost every single national ranking, and it's disgusting and it has to stop. We are focused on going to the 30th percentiles by liberating markets that have had regressive policies applied to them for decades upon decades, reefer madness from the 1950s and beyond, just nonsense. We have markets that should be open for business. We're going to open them for business and let everybody know West Virginia is not what you thought it is. It's actually wild and wonderful. And when you do the historical research on the rednecks, you're going to find out that rednecks were a lot cooler back in the day, and they turned that around into an insult because the rednecks were union solidarity against the robber baron class. And they wore these red bandanas around their necks. This is West Virginia. I'm a real redneck. I'm not the branded redneck, the slanderous version. No. I'm standing in the Mountain State for true freedom, true constitutional principles, And I stand with everybody out there that does the same. You will have me lockstep with you in this blue wave moving forward. And I follow with all of you. You're all incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rio. Jay, remind everyone.
Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? My name is Jay Morris. I am 21 years old, running for the Georgia State House of Representative in District 165. That is the Savannah, Chatham County area. And I wanted to start off by saying this. If you want the same momentum that took place in New York City to take place here in Savannah, we need your support. We need volunteers, we need canvassers, we need donors, we need all of you. We need platforms, we need a lot. And the only way that this can work, if you click on the link in my bio, that's supposed to go straight to my website. If not, feel free to text me. I would make sure that each and every last one of you will have a way to contact me or my campaign manager. That would be amazing. Another thing is to always remember that this campaign is not only a campaign, it's a movement for people between the ages of 18 to 21 to get involved in politics. Now is more than ever that any generation, even the future generation, step up and govern themselves. And it takes place with local and state governments. So that's why I chose to run for the state house, is to make sure that my generation have the time and the responsibility to govern themselves. On top of all of that, we have to preserve the history of District 165. We cannot allow SCAD to come up and buy our properties. We also cannot allow the pillar of Black history to be erased from the State House of Representatives at all. The incumbent right now, her name is Anna Jackson. She marched for Martin Luther King. She fought for civil rights. She also became a mayor of Savannah. And she also met and marched with late Congressman John Lewis. That is the standing, alive, walking, talking Black history at the age of 80. And she's looking for someone who can carry the ranks and still fight for the community here in Savannah, and making sure that Savannah State voices is heard, making sure that small businesses, Black-owned businesses, is heard here in the state of Georgia. And that all lies with this campaign. So 2026 is going to be not only on me, but on you and everybody else here in Savannah. Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher, remind the good people where you are, what you're running for, sir.
I am in Arizona, Congressional District 1. That is Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Fountain Hills, Cave Creek, a little bit of Phoenix east of the 51, and a little bit of Mesa north of the 202. There's great resources here in Arizona to find out if you're in my district. You just need your address. Sometimes like to sign my ballot petition, which is probably the biggest way you can help me right now. On the Equal website, you can find everything there in terms of like signing that, and that you just need a driver's license for. So that stuff is really easy. I have a volunteer link. There's a QR code in my profile here on TikTok. And I'm going to publish a link tree today, so we'll have that done. Just been kind of getting all the social media together. So I'm on Blue Sky. I am on, let's call it Twitter. Can we not say that word? We may not be.
No, you can say Twitter. We're on Twitter at somebody, one of them.
Wherever. I don't know about it anymore. It's a very weird cesspool, but I'm on there. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. You can find me in all these places, usually with Christopher for Congress. Just search for that. And honestly, I try to be an extremely responsive person. So if you are messaging me or you want to go knock doors, let me know. I'm ready to go. I will schedule it. If I can't go with you, I will give you the tools. We all can do things, and it doesn't cost money. We can all put our time. Giving 1 hour to a candidate anywhere you live, I mean, you just gave them more than any donation if you do that. And I can tell you this, guys. I was listening to former President Barack Obama speak the other day on the Mark Maron's, I think it's WTF podcast. And one of the things he said that really spoke to me was back in the campaign days when he was running in 2008, he really enjoyed getting people together. They used Meetup at the time. That was like the app then. And when people would come, they would have a good time. And maybe they didn't agree on everything. but they got a chance to talk to people. They got a chance to go out, do things, didn't cost money. They could support what they believed in. And it just is a great way to build community. We should have lots of different fun things that we're doing in the community that we sort of have seen. Like I always talk about block parties. We need those spaces to be able to converse and do things. And getting involved in a no money campaign is a really, really good way to do that. You will have fun, I guarantee you. So thank you, everybody. And please check out all of our pages. And I just want to say this, like, you could be forgiven in previous elections if you like couldn't find who you're able to vote for or whatever, or you didn't make it, whatever. This one you really can't. I mean, the elections in the next few cycles are going to determine the future of this country. So go, if you live in West Virginia, you can vote for Rio. So go find him. If you live in Florida, go find Rodney's campaign. Go see how you can help it. Do a little digging. Get in there in Georgia for Jay. And get in there, I believe it was Maryland for Oshawana. We can do this if we have backing, folks. And we are putting ourselves out there to do this because we believe in it. That's why. It's not for the money. And that's the people that we're facing do it for the money. So please, 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 I can't say this enough. Get involved where you will. And that would be my last.
I want to again thank you all for joining us today. Y'all are welcome back. We will be doing this every other week, so twice a month. We plan on having these round table talks. So come back, lend your voice to the round table. It will definitely be welcome. Next time we probably will bring up some people to ask some questions to you all, because at the end of the day, you're not trying to impress each other. Your goal is to figure out what the people need and how you can better your campaign and structure it for the people. But I want to invite you all also to our next town hall. We will be having on November the 12th. We're having two back to back. Well, not back to back, but two on the same day. One is with Patrick Henley at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then later the evening at 7 o'clock, we will be with Leela Stanton. So, and she's running for Iowa's House of Representative, while Patrick is running for Illinois State Senate. So, again, I'm inviting the audience, everyone on the panel, to visit us for our next town hall on Wednesday, November 12th. I really hope to see you all then. And again, if you don't know who we are Our Vote Counts, OVC. We are a nonpartisan movement uniting Americans from all walks of life to empower voters, support candidates of integrity, and ensure every voice is heard. Through education, outreach, accountability, and action, we are building a stronger democracy, one informed vote at a time. So make sure you join all of us, everyone on this panel, everyone in this chat, because your vote is your power. Until next time, y'all have a good evening.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.